As the Kansas City Chiefs 53-man roster is finally taking shape, you would think they're done. But they are far from that, as they added a key offensive weapon to their active roster, and their practice squad is coming together. So let's dissect that. And with that, let's cut the chit chat. Let's have some fun. As I am recording this, it is 8 o'clock my time on Thursday night. That means we are officially 1 week away from banner night as the Kansas City Chiefs prepare to take on the Baltimore Ravens in what should be a great, crazy game. And while we are a week away, Brett Veach and Coach Reed are still ironing out the skill sets to put the best team forward to be the first team ever to three-peat. So let's talk about some of these key acquisitions and how the practice squad is shaping out. And let's talk about the one that highlights and takes it away over anything else. And it's that the Kansas City Chiefs acquired running back Samaje Perine. Technically, we got a different report today that he just came in for a visit. And now it looks like it just didn't hit the transaction wire. He is a Kansas City Chief. It just isn't official yet. Best believe when tomorrow morning comes, it'll be official. It'll be signed, sealed, delivered. And this is huge for the Kansas City Chiefs because they do have some holes. And one of the main holes is that running back room. We all love that grown man, Isaiah Pacheco. But when it becomes after him, it is slim pickings when you focus on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and we all have fallen in love with Carson Steele. But do we feel comfortable in a 17-game season with those two behind him? I don't know. We definitely needed depth, and that's why Samaje Perine is now in the fold, and it's a great thing to see. I remember when he became a free agent after his tenure with the Cincinnati Bengals, he was on the top of my free agent list that I wanted that tandem with, and unfortunately, the Broncos nabbed him. But it comes full circle now. Coach Reed got his guy, and I think he fits this offense great. One thing Coach Reed loves to use with his running backs is in the receiving game and in the screen game, and Samaje Perine has hands like a wide receiver. Everyone compares him to Jerick McKinnon, rightfully so, because those skill sets are very similar, but the only difference, and it's a big difference, that boy is jacked. It is hard to bring him down. I know Chiefs Kingdom, when they remember Samaje Perine, is that regular season game where he basically torched us, bulldozed us, and there was just no bringing him down. It left a lasting memory for all of us in Chiefs Kingdom, and that's what made me want him moving forward. And now that he's here, I am so excited to see him. I really believe when we take on the Ravens, he is going to have like 5 to 10 snaps, and he's going to be out there, and he's going to be making plays, and then just best believe it's going to increase by week in and week out. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to have a legit running game, and it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. We all focus on the wide receivers that have been acquired, but also this O-line, they get down and dirty. They want to block for the run. They like guys like Isaiah Pacheco, Samaje Perine, Carson Steele. They want to block, and they want to make sure to get physical, and that is something I am excited to see. But a thing I love to highlight here is how much Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs fell in love with Samaje Perine, because it wasn't they just acquired him after he got a release. No, they zoned in on him. They really tried to make a trade with the Denver Broncos before he was cut, saying, hey, I know we division rivals, but we want him. And at the end of the day, they couldn't strike a deal. But the Denver Broncos couldn't strike a deal with anyone. So they were hoping once he was cut, maybe he would go elsewhere. Well, that elsewhere was in Kansas City, and it is a full circle moment, and I'm happy that he is a Chief. I can't wait to see what he brings to this offense, because I really believe he is going to have a huge impact. And also, too, I know that Thanksgiving dinner's got to be interesting, because now Samaje Perine comes in when LaMichael Perine was cut earlier in the offseason, because they're cousins, they're brothers. I forgot the relationship, but I know it's one or the other, so I know that's got to be interesting moving forward. So I just thought that was a cool little tidbit. But now let's zone away from all the craziness, and let's hop into the practice squad, because that is something that's got to be put together. Because when everyone focuses on the 53-man roster, they just focus on the active guys. Let's focus on the practice squad, because some of these players can be a real crucial piece to the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward if injuries happen to happen. Knock on wood, because that's something we don't want to see. But one surprising thing, or acquisition nonetheless, that happened was Chris Oladokun, I always mess his name up. He will not be on the practice squad. The Kansas City Chiefs went in a different direction, in a direction I didn't expect, as they acquired from New England Bailey Zappi. And I actually really like this because Bailey Zappi, he does have some starting experience. It may not be the greatest experience, but he has some starting experience. And when it comes to Bailey Zappi, he is an interesting player to really zone in on. He's got the athleticism, he's got the intangibles, he's got the arm. He just needs to be in the right circumstance or in the right position to become a good quarterback. And what other team than the Kansas City Chiefs under the quarterback guru Andy Reid himself than to learn? And also you got Patrick Mahomes, the GOAT himself. I think Bailey Zappi put himself in the perfect situation. Also, you do not know what that can develop to be because as Carson Wentz is the Kansas City Chiefs backup, I believe that's just a one-year thing. Bailey Zappi does good on the practice squad, then coming into the next season, he may be the future Kansas City Chief backup quarterback. So I think this was a great acquisition, and I think it's also good for Bailey Zappi's potential in the future. Let's move back onto the active roster because an interesting acquisition yesterday that the Kansas City Chiefs claimed Eric Scott off of waivers from the Dallas Cowboys. That was also highlighted because they did cut Nick Jones, which kind of rubs some of Chiefs Kingdom different. But then more reports came out today that that wasn't the only cornerback the Kansas City Chiefs were after, as they put 2 additional waivers in for 2 separate cornerbacks that I do not remember their names because they're not Kansas City Chiefs, so it's not important. If they were Chiefs, I would give a little damn to care, but right now we don't. But what I do want to highlight is that Brett Veach is zoning in on the cornerback room. And I don't want to say it's concerning, but once we lost L'Jarius Sneed, we knew there was going to be a hole there. And throughout training camp and preseason, that cornerback 2, even though it may be Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, I don't believe was officially answered. Now, do I think Eric Scott is just going to come in and be cornerback number 2? Not a chance. But what is concerning to me is that we do have a lot of bodies in the cornerback room and it still seems very scarce. It seems like we don't have a legit answer, and we know it's going to be proven on the football field. But it's not as guaranteed as it was last year with Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed. So when Brett Veach goes and puts multiple waiver claims in for cornerbacks, best believe the Kansas City Chiefs are like, we can't let this be a weakness, but right now, it could be something we need to address. So I got my eyes peeled in the cornerback room, as I know Chiefs Kingdom does. And let's cover 2 more topics, and we're going back to the practice squad as an interesting player added back to the practice squad that I did not think was going to happen was Justyn Ross. He made it back to the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad, surprisingly in my eyes. I thought someone would claim him, but all 31 other teams passed on him. What does that tell you? I really don't know. Maybe the league doesn't view Justyn Ross the way Chiefs Kingdom does. Is that unfortunate? It may be. But it gives Justyn Ross another opportunity to now be on the practice squad and learn more about the playbook, get more in tune, and just become a better football player. And maybe that is what he needs in his career. He doesn't need to be thrown onto an active roster or on the football field and asked to produce. Maybe he just needs time to learn. And if that's the case, let's see what develops. But right now, I don't know what to make of Justyn Ross. Let's just hope it all turns out well. And for the final guy we're going to talk about today, and he's not even on the Kansas City Chiefs active roster. He's not even on the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad, but I thought I'd bring it up because it's really interesting. And when it comes to Rees-Zammit, yes, LRZ, yes, the fairy tale story that Chiefs Kingdom fell in love with, he moved on to Jacksonville. And when we heard that yesterday, we're like, oh, well, congratulations. You made it onto an active roster. We didn't think you were going to do that, and we understand. Hey, leave for a team that's going to pay you money and play you instead of coming back to the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad. Makes sense, right? It didn't happen, though. He signed on the Jacksonville Jaguars practice squad. And I'm like, okay, let's pause this real quick. So you chose the Jacksonville Jaguars practice squad over the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad. It literally raises my eyebrows and a lot of questions that are going to be unanswered. Like, his small tenure in Kansas City may not ended the way he wanted it to or went the way he wanted to. Of course, he didn't end on the active roster. Nonetheless, who wouldn't want it to end that way? But the fact that you didn't want to be on the practice squad and learn football more under Coach Reid may be telling, but also too, you do see when he signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars, they listed him as a wide receiver. Maybe he didn't want to be a running back. Maybe he always wanted to be a wide receiver. And if that's the case, hey, really, go chase your dreams, because that's what he's all about. So wish him nothing but the best, but I did find it quite interesting that he switched practice squads to go with Jacksonville. So it was something that I wanted to highlight, and I know Chiefs Kingdom, you were looking for it as well. But with that, that's everything I highlighted from the acquisitions with Samaje Perine and the practice squad additions. Chiefs Kingdom, you let me know what I missed in the comments down below. Let's chit chat and let's have some fun. With that, I'm going to be checking out, so please be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you did like this video, you already know, leave that big thumbs up. I'll be checking in out through the week. We got our first game preview that we got to hit next week. Ravens, Chiefs. This is going to be fun. Let's get the 2024 NFL season going. Y'all take care. Peace.